Right, so let's just add a little button here and some interactive code. So we'll create a function that will update the word variable, just like this, and then we're just going to pass that function in like this. Forget prettier, because prettier doesn't work yet in WebStorm, because HTMLX isn't supported by prettier yet, but hopefully that'll be done soon. So what that's just going to do is going to give us a button that when we click it, it's going to update that text. So for example, if I just click here, right, it's going to compile it. So click that, and it's going to set the word to Nikos. So let's just see what code that is actually exported to the bundle. So the usual extra text element for the space in between element, we've got a button there as well. So as you can see, we have a button here. We set a property called text content, and this is the way you can't really initialize properties with elements with like text content in one go. You have to set it afterwards. Okay, so then we've got this thing called got an array of dispose, and then it's going to be two listen functions, which is going to give us the unbind listeners as well. Similar to what we had before using the listen dev, and now we've just got listen. So you remember what that is, see the previous video. And then we've got our inserting of this extra button down here, which is quite expected. And then we've got a detached message, which will be the callbacks from the inserts. And then our function update word calls this invalidate function, and as we can see before, that it's the same function that is kind of over here. Well, actually, if you compare these two functions, on this one they've both got invalidate, and for whatever reason they're doing it in one line there, and then here they're doing the invalidation on two lines. And I can ask reach why it's that way. And then we've got this update word. So let's just run briefly into this working as we debug it. So let's refresh the page. So we don't really care about rendering callbacks. So let's just click the button here, and we'll skip the code for assigning a listener. So in this case, let's just do the same again, but let's refresh the page. So where else do we want to listen to? Let's think about this. So really, we just want to look at the invalidate function, I think, because we've seen the rest of the code. It's pretty much not changed. So it's going to be here, right? This is the invalidate function. So click here. So we've got this key. So the key is word, and Nikos is the value. So we've seen this code before. It's going to, the value is going to change, and okay, it's not. Is it not changed? Oh, interesting. Let's just refresh this and try that again. Okay, so we've got this thing, context here. So what's the value here? Key is going to be word, and it's currently set to world, and value is going to be equal to Nikos. So we're going to set this to Nikos, and then this here is currently word, so we should step below, right? Yeah. Okay, so and then we've got this bound thing, which I've forgotten what it was. So now we have set bound. Okay, I'm not sure what that bind is. And we've got that make dirty thing. So we've seen this thing before, so we'll just skip all this. Right, so we've got this p thing, change.word, and then we just update the set data method. So we've got this text element, and we're just going to set data on that element. Okay, let's continue. Okay, that's now I've looked at that, which is pretty much very similar to the last episode. We'll add a reactive statement, and we'll bind that a reactive variable to another part of the code base. So let's just think how we want to do this. So, right, so let's create a reactive variable. Use a dollar and then the semicolon, and so just do it like this. So we're making this. Got this new variable react word, and we're going to set it to the word. And when word changes, then that will reactive word will update. So we're just going to do word plus word for the syntax here. Of course, we need to move these together. And we're going to export, print out this reactive word. And we'll actually need to declare up here. Okay, let's see if that works. Okay, very good, it is. And if we click here, then we should see all these words change. And it is. Okay, brilliant. Right, so let's see what code it's generated. This will be fascinating. Okay, so we're calling it now h10 for whatever reason. And I've got some more text elements here, quite a few actually. This is basically noise. So we're interested in, this is the new stuff here, and then we have this new reactive word thing. And we've got the same listeners as before. So clicks and input. So on the creation here, we've got some more inserts and appends. And we've got this new changed reactive word. So here there's just like there's no checks like it is here. So here now we're actually passing dispose in like that. Okay, so now we add in this new property here. We have this update word. And this is the new validation here, so I'm going to update anything that's using reactive word. And now we have this thing called update, which is new. So let's just debug this and see what's going on. So in here, in a sense, it's checking to see if word is changed. And then we are setting this new variable there. All right, let's go and debug this. So let's think about what we're going to do. Let's see. Let's go up to the top here. So none of this stuff we don't really care about. We'll leave one in here this time. It's starting to get annoying how jumpy Chrome debugger is working sometimes. Let's just stick a breakpoint there as well. Let's put one in here. Okay, let's also put one here. And put one here. So we've got update world, we've seen that before. We've seen this before. Put one there and put one there. Okay, here we go. Okay, so let's step through the code. I've put a breakpoint back here, and we're going to just step through things again and make sure we understand what these reactive code does. So let's go into the init function, and we'll skip this stuff here, and we'll have the breakpoint here, and let's just go down. Let's call the update method. So in the update, we have this original thing that's needs to set up on the word here, and then that will call the update on the reactive word to get the initial value. So all that stuff's going to be now set to the reactive variable. Now when we change it, it's going to call the update function. So here, the word is world, and it's still world, and the change is going to call on the world word here. The change is going to be Nikos now. So on this key, we're going to then convert it to the new value, and we're going to say that this key word is now dirty. So here's the update statement. So here we have this update now. So the way that the Svelte compiler works is it works out the dependency graph, i.e. what variables depend on each other ones and in a certain order. So here, because reactive word only changes if this is dirty, then of course this will only be called when that changes. So let's just step through this. So at the moment, word has been changed, and so reactive word needs to change as well. So we're going to invalidate this, and then we're going to set this new value. So it's going to become Nikos. So we're going to also make that dirty as well. So here we have reactive word Nikos, and it's already set the new value. Okay, now we're going to run update methods. So we'll come into this function here, which we've already called the update on the word here, the input value. And so now we also need to update the actual data where this is rendered, and it's rendered in this text element here, and it's going to become this one. So we have the existing text, and we're going to set the data to this one here. So let's just step into this method. So we have the text, which is this, and we have this data, and so we've got text.data. So world now becomes this, and now that's updated this text element. Alright, okay, so we kind of got an idea of what's going on here. I mean, it is kind of still complicated code. So what we're going to do to make sure we understand what's going on is we're going to go back into the code, and I need to start WebStorm, and we'll add a new reactive variable that depends on the current reactive variable. So then we should see another one down below checking to see if that reactive word is actually dirty. So that'll be interesting. And I guess once we've done this video, we can start, yeah, we can maybe look at doing a route in there, but that's not really native. So maybe a store, that could be interesting, or even custom events. I think what I'll do is I'll create another component, and that component will write to the store, and then that store should update on the other component as well. So we'll sort of see cross-component communication via stores would be interesting. Okay, so anyway, let's just go here and let's just create another variable, and we'll just call this reactive word 2. And let's think. So we want to make that one depend on just reactive word. So we'll just do the same again. And we'll actually just print it out. And we'll just look at that code running. Does that look right? Okay, so let's just refresh the page here. Yeah, so let me just run this non-debug mode. So that's expected. Let's just go compare the compiler output. Hopefully you guys got an idea of what will be generated. That should be quite similar to, it should be just a few lines of code here. Right, so oh, whoops, I should have, I'll tell you what I'll do is I'll revert that change and we'll just commit what we have before so we know exactly what's changed with the new reactive variable. So that's what we need to do now. Let me just commit this. Okay, just be like that. Right, so let's just go back to change the code and see if we can understand the changes. Right. Okay, so we've added just a text element here, and we've got this reactive variable 2 that we're going to add. We've got the insert and append methods, And then of course on our changed method here we have another set data on this new text element, and detach methods, and now we have we added an extra setting, so this is when it initially starts up. And then also with update method is so we have if word or is dirty this, then we call invalidate this one and this one. So that's interesting in that it's included this change within this one here, whereas it didn't call invalidate React word the first time over here when this wasn't dirty. So that's interesting. I mean, I can understand why this line is called when this is dirty. So, well, it's actually, that makes sense, because if this is dirty, then of course this must be invalidated. Okay, cool. Well, that's all I want to cover for this video. And any questions, or if you get any insights that I've missed, then if you're familiar with the code base, then please add a comment below. Anything I've been unclear, and we'll grow in this journey learning together. Thanks very much. See you next time. Bye bye.